Hello, I'm Gentle from Gentle Programming. In this video, I'm going to help you understand that how conditional statements in C programming really works. This video includes if statement, Ifelse statement, Ifelse ladder, which is also called Ifelse statement, or multiple Ifelse block, and nested Ifelse statement and switch case statement. So let's get started with conditional statements in C programming. So first is if statement. In if statement, if the condition is evaluated to true, statements inside the body of if are executed. It means if the condition is true, then the statement is executed, otherwise the statement is skipped from execution. So it's very simple. So syntax is if condition, then statements will be executed, right? If condition, and if the condition is true, then the statement will be executed, otherwise that statements will be skipped from execution or will not be executed. So I'll explain this if statement with the help of simple program example. So I'm gonna open a dev C. Okay, then this close. Now if statement, simple if statement program example. As include stdio.h, as include conio.h, right? Conio.h, int main, and then int n. I have to take integer numbers, so I have declared int n variable of integer data type. So printf enter any number, right? So scanf %d and n, so storing the variable, storing the inputted value in n variable. And now if n is greater than 0, and I'm gonna print the number only if the number is positive, right? Only if the number is positive. I mean print the number on the screen only if it is positive, right? If n is greater than 0, if the number is greater than 0, then I have to print the number. You entered %d, right? Otherwise the normal flow of program, okay, will be executed. Now simple if statement, okay, now get return 0. Now here I'm gonna explain you how this really works. This is header file, and then main function is started, int main, and then I have just declared on variable to store on number, right, of integer data, having integer data type. Now printf, it just display or shows enter any number on the screen, and if user inputs any number, then that number will be stored in this n variable, right? And if that n is greater than 0, I mean if the n is positive, then you entered this will be printed. If the number is positive, then this block of code will be executed, otherwise this block of code will be skipped. If you enter negative number or 0, then this block will not be executed or skipped from execution. So now running, press F9 to execute and F10 for output. So 4, I'm pressing positive number, then you enter 4, right? But if I enter negative number, then what will happen? Only OK will be displayed on the screen. It means this is not executed. This will not be executed if we enter negative number. This will be executed only if we enter positive number. So I think you have understood the concept of if statement very well. So this is how if statement works. Now next is Ifelse statement. Ifelse statement is nothing, just having two blocks of code, if blocks and else block. And if in Ifelse statement, if the condition is evaluated to true, then statements inside the body of if are executed, and statements inside the body of if else are skipped from execution. So if the condition is evaluated to false, then the statements inside the body of else are executed and statements inside the body of if are skipped. Syntax is as follows: if condition, then statements, otherwise else statements. It means if condition is true, then this block of code will be executed. If condition is false, this block of code will be executed. In other words, if this condition is evaluated true, then this block of code will be executed and this block of code is skipped from execution. And if condition is evaluated false, then this block of code will be skipped from execution and this block of code will be executed. So don't be confused. I will explain this concept of if-else statement with the help of program example. So example of if-else statement: finding odd or even number, whether the number is odd or even. So has include stdio.as, right? As has include conio.as, intn, right? And now printf, enter any number, scanf percentage and storing it in n variable. If n %2 equal to 0, then the number is positive, right? %d is even, not positive, even number. Else %d is odd number, right? I have not, and here n, this n will be printed here, and then n. Now return 0. Now look here, if else statement from example, saving as. Now first, this is just header file. I'm explaining this code. This is header file and this is the main function, and I have declared n variable to store number entered by the user and declared in n variable. So if n %2 equal to 0, if the number entered by the user, if that number is divided and if the remainder is 0, I mean if we divide 4 by 2, what will be the output? 4 by 2, output will be 2, right? But what if we divided like this, 4 %2 equal to 0? It means this will provide, this 4 by 2 provide quotient of the number, but this provide remainder. So if that number %2, this will provide remainder, and if that remainder is 0, then that number is even number, otherwise odd number. So you have understood this very well. This is how we can find even or odd number in C programming. So this is the simple flow of if-else statement. Now next is if-else ladder, that means if-else statement. Ifelse ladder checks between multiple conditions and execute different statements. It consists of multiple else if blocks and checks multiple conditions and print the statements or execute the code based on that conditions. So syntax will be like this: if this condition is evaluated true, then this statements, otherwise this condition will be executed, this condition will be checked, and if this condition is true, then this statements, and so on, this flow goes on, and then else, then this statement will be executed. So this is very simple. So I'll also explain with the help of program example. If else if statement program example. check check the greatest number among three numbers. Find greatest number. Which number is greatest among three numbers? This is really simple. Okay, has include ponyo.h int main. Now int n, a b c. We have to take three numbers from the user. So I have declared three numbers, three variables a, b and c of integer data type. So printf enter three numbers, right? Now scanf %d %d and a b c, right? And also assigning value to a variable. If else if statement example program. And I have declared three variables and printed enter three numbers on the screen. And if user inputs three numbers, then also assigning its value to each variable that we have already declared. So if a is greater than b, now checking which number is greatest. A will be greatest. A will only be greatest if it is greater than b and c, right? If a is greater than b and c, then a will be the greatest number. Likewise, if b is greater than a and c, then b will be the greatest number. And if c is greater than a and b, then c will be the greatest number. So just checking the condition. If a is greater than b and a is greater than c, then printf is greatest number, right? Now likewise, else if b is greater than a and b is greater than c, printf %d is greatest number. Oh sorry, b. Okay, now else otherwise %d is otherwise c is the greatest number. So no need to write conditions. I will explain why. In these two cases, I have written two conditions, right? For a, if a is greater than b and a is greater than c, then a is the greatest number. And if b is greater than c and b is greater than c, then b is the greatest number. But for c, I have not written any conditions. Why? If a and b is not greatest number, then by default c is the greatest number. So no need to write the condition, just write else, right? I think you have understood very well. This is how we can find greatest number in C programming. So this if statement can be used for other purposes also, like finding and checking the grades, right? A plus, a and a minus, and then b plus, b, checking grades of its students. And while creating mark sheets in real world, you can use this. And also whether you are also in the case that whether you are eligible for voting or not, you can use this if statement. And you can also check whether you are eligible for bike license or not, car license or not, and for licensing purposes you can use. And this is the most important thing in programming that we mostly use if statements. So I hope you have understood it very well. So The next is nested if-else statement. We can also include an if-else statement inside the body of another if-else statement. So this is called nested if-else statement. Nested if-else statement is not a different if-else statement blocks. This is just the use of multiple if-else statements inside another if-else statement. That's called nested if-else statement. So this is very easy. Now next is switch case statement. Switch case statement, which is very important in any programming language, and syntax of switch statement is as follows: switch condition if the and case level on. If the condition, this case is true, then this statement is executed. Otherwise, and then break will and this break will skip the statements from execution, right? I'll also explain how break really works or what is break in the next video, but here I'm not gonna explain it in details. So, and this case level 2, next case, and if this case will be true, evaluated to true, then this statement will be executed. Otherwise, this will be executed. So I'll explain the use of switch case statement with the help of program example. Let's get started. Example program for switch case statement, right? Has include printing 7 days of the week based on inputted number. So has include stdio.h declaring header file, conio.s int main now int main now int and printf enter any numbers from 1 to 7. If user inputs 1, then it will display Sunday. If 2, then it will display Monday. If 7, then it will display Saturday, right? This is simple program example which will explain use of switch case statement. Now I have just declared on variable to store integer number, and now switch and now case on. If user inputs on, then printf you entered Sunday, right? And break case 2. If user inputs 2, then Monday. Break case 3. If user inputs 3, then you entered Tuesday. Case 4. If user inputs 4, you entered Wednesday. Break likewise case 5. You entered Wednesday, Thursday. Break case 6. Printf you entered Friday. Break case 7. Entered Saturday. Break and then default printf you entered invalid number. If user inputs other than on to 7, then what will be printed? You entered invalid number will be printed. Now guess return 0. I'm saving this as switch case statement example. This is really simple. This is main function and declaring n variable and getting inputs from the user on integer variable and storing it in an variable number. Now if using switch case statement, switch and that variable, if user inputs on, then this will display you entered Sunday on the screen. If true, Monday. Likewise, if 7, you entered Saturday, right? But if user inputs other than 1 to 7, right, if user inputs 8, then you entered invalid number will be displayed. Now check this. What happened? Oh, sorry. Okay, now this is error free. Now press F9. You entered Sunday. This is correct. But if you press 9, you entered invalid number because there is nothing described or nothing defined for 9. So you entered invalid number. This is how switch case statement really works. I think you have understood very well about the switch case statement, and this is all about conditional statements in C programming. This is how we use conditional statements, and conditional statements means checking the conditions and doing something stuffs based on that condition. This is really interesting thing in programming. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe my channel Gentle Programming, and I hope you code like a gentle. Thank you.